Defeating a demon was only the beginning. Now, Tanjiro must become strong enough to face what's ahead, because true strength is earned one step at a time. After leaving the Hashira meeting, Tanjiro is taken to Shinobu's butterfly mansion. As he enters the estate, he notices a quiet girl peacefully playing with a butterfly. Her name is Kanao Tsuyuri. Before Tanjiro has a chance to introduce himself, another girl suddenly appears behind him. "Who the heck are you?" Startled, Tanjiro and the two corps members escorting him nearly jump in surprise. Without another word, the girl orders everyone to follow her inside so Tanjiro can receive treatment. The moment they enter the mansion, a loud voice echoes through the halls. "I have to drink this awful medicine 5 times a day for 3 months?" The voice is impossible to mistake. This is Zenitsu. The girl from earlier immediately scolds him for yelling and complaining again. If he doesn't behave, she warns she'll tie him to the bed. The threat works instantly. Zenitsu quickly hides beneath the blanket, too frightened to say another word. Then, he notices Tanjiro. His eyes instantly fills with tears, still lying in bed. He cries with relief that he and Tanjiro survived the battle on Mount Natagumo. Seeing Zenitsu awake brings a smile to Tanjiro's face, but he's still worried. What about Inosuke and Murata? Zenitsu blinks. I don't know who Murata is. Then he quietly points towards the next bed. Inosuke is lying there, unusually silent. Relieved to see his friend alive, Tanjiro rushes over. He apologizes for not being able to help during the battle. To Tanjiro's surprise, Inosuke calmly tells him not to worry about it. The voice catches Tanjiro completely off guard. He barely recognizes it. Zenitsu explains that Inosuke's throat was crushed during the fight, so his voice sounds completely different. Although all 4 demon slayers survived Mount Natagumo, none of them escaped without serious injuries. Nezuko remains asleep as her body recovers. Tanjiro can barely move without pain, and Zenitsu continues complaining about his medicine. And Inosuke, for the first time since they've met, has lost so much of his usual confidence. He quietly apologizes for being weak. Instead of teasing him, Tanjiro and Zenitsu encourage him. They all survive, and they'll become stronger together. Several days pass. As the injuries slowly begin to heal, Shinobu finally returns. Looking over the 4 recovering demon slayers, she smiles. It's time to begin your rehabilitation training. Tanjiro and Inosuke started their rehabilitation training. Zenitsu watches them leave, still confined to his bed. He has no idea what rehabilitation involves. Day after day, Tanjiro and Inosuke return looking completely drained, barely able to move. They collapse onto their beds. Watching this happen over and over again, Zenitsu becomes convinced the rehabilitation is some kind of nightmare. So when it's finally his turn, Zenitsu is terrified. Before it begins, the girl from earlier, Aoi Kanzaki, explains that rehabilitation consists of 3 exercises. First, they receive a full body massage to loosen their muscles. Next, come reflex training. Each person is given a cup filled with bitter medicine. If your opponent holds your cup down before you can lift it, you lose, and you have to drink the medicine. Finally, they play a game of tag to improve their overall physical abilities. Zenitsu can hardly believe what he just heard. This was the nightmare Tanjiro and Inosuke had been talking about? He asks the 2 of them to come outside with him. Tanjiro and Inosuke exchange confused look. Why? but Zenitsu insists. Once they are outside, without warning, he punches Inosuke. Tanjiro and Inosuke freezes in confusion. Zenitsu is furious. He demands to know why they kept acting as if rehabilitation was some horrible nightmare when they are spending every day surrounded by girls. They were getting massages, playing games together. To Zenitsu, that sounds like paradise. Inosuke immediately fires back. There is nothing enjoyable about constantly losing to a bunch of tiny girls. Zenitsu throws his hands into the air. Oh, cry me a river! Moments later, the massage begins. It hurts a lot. Yet somehow, Zenitsu can't stop laughing. Being massaged by girls is all he can think about. Tanjiro can only stare at him in complete confusion. Next comes reflex training. Thanks to his incredible speed, Zenitsu repeatedly beats Aoi. Each victory only makes him more confident. Before long, he's showering her with cheesy compliments. Then comes the final exercise, a game of tag. Zenitsu quickly catches Aoi and happily wraps his arms around her. For him, it's a dream come true. For Aoi, not so much. She sends him flying with a punch. Meanwhile, Inosuke refuses to accept defeat. He repeatedly challenges Aoi and even the younger girls until he finally starts beating them. But there is one opponent no one can defeat. Kanao. No matter who challenges her. Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu. The result is always the same. They lose. 5 days pass. After losing to Kanao every day, Zenitsu decides he's had enough. Inosuke refuses to keep coming as well. But Tanjiro doesn't give up. He continues showing up every single day. As he watches Kanao move, he notices something familiar. Her scent is surprisingly similar to the Hashira's. After another day of training, Tanjiro can't stop thinking about Kanao. How could she possibly be so much stronger than all of them? Just then, the 3 young girls approach him. Seeing the puzzled look on his face, they ask him a simple question. Do you use total concentration breathing all day? Tanjiro looks confused. All day? Even while sleeping? He shakes his head. No, is that even possible? The girls nod. They explain that every Hashira can do it, and so can Kanao. They maintain total concentration breathing every second of every day, whether they're awake or asleep. Tanjiro is stunned. Without wasting another second, he immediately begins practicing. He focuses on maintaining total concentration for as long as he can. But after only a short while, his body reaches its limit. He collapses to the ground. Everything hurts. Maintaining total concentration for so long feels unbearable. If he keeps forcing it, it feels like he's going to die. But Tanjiro refuses to give up. Instead, he decides to return to the basics. Every morning, he wakes up earlier, runs to build his stamina, and practices maintaining total concentration a little longer each day. Watching his determination, the 3 girls happily cheer him on. They bring him towels, rice balls, and Shinobu's next training exercise, a small gourd. They explain that Kanao trained the same way. Tanjiro's goal is simple. Blow enough air into the gourd to make it burst. Each time he succeeds, he'll be given a larger one. Then they show him Kanao's gourd. It's enormous. Tanjiro stares at it in disbelief. One day, he'll burst one just like it. 15 days later, under the light of a crescent moon, Tanjiro meditates quietly on the rooftop. Little by little, he can feel his strength returning. Just then, Shinobu appears beside him. She smiles. Even this late at night, Tanjiro is still training. Once he's mastered this training, he plans to teach everything he learns to Zenitsu and Inosuke as well. Shinobu chuckles. She tells him he really does have a kind heart. Curious, Tanjiro asks why she decided to bring Nezuko to the butterfly mansion instead of killing her. Shinobu quietly looks up at the night sky. After learning the truth about Nezuko and seeing how badly everyone had been injured, she decided to trust Tanjiro. Then she shares a dream she carried for years, a world where humans and demons can understand one another. Tanjiro is surprised. Even though Shinobu is smiling, her scent tells a completely different story. She is angry. Shinobu is surprised he could tell. She explains that a demon murdered her beloved older sister. Ever since that day, the anger inside her has never faded. But her sister always wore a smile. Even as she lay dying, she asked Shinobu to keep smiling in her place. So ever since then, no matter how angry or heartbroken she feels, Shinobu continues to smile. Her sister also believed that someday they could help defeat demons without killing them. Shinobu has tried to believe in that dream too, but carrying it alone has become exhausting. She looks at Tanjiro. His kindness toward Nezuko reminds her of her sister. So she asks him to keep protecting Nezuko and to continue proving that her sister's dream wasn't impossible. Tanjiro quietly nods. The next morning, he asks the three young girls to help him train, Naho, Kiyo, and Sumi. Whenever he falls asleep, if he stops maintaining total concentration, he wants them to wake him immediately. The three girls happily agree, and so the training continues. Day after day, Tanjiro pushes himself further. Each time he bursts a gourd, he is given a larger one. Until finally, he takes one deep breath and exhales with all his strength. Bam! The gourd explodes. The girls erupt with excitement. Back in the training hall, Tanjiro challenges Kanao once again. This time, something is different. His movements are faster. His breathing is steadier. His body feels lighter. During reflex training, he finally keeps up with Kanao. For the first time, they are evenly matched. Tanjiro reaches his cup first. Instead of splashing the bitter medicine on her, he gently places the cup on the top of her head. Then comes the final exercise, another game of tag. Kanao sprints across the training hall, just as effortless as always. Tanjiro gives chase. This time, he doesn't fall behind. Step by step, he closes the distance. Then, he reaches out and catches her. For the first time, Kanao comes to a stop. She quietly turns toward Tanjiro, a hint of surprise in her eyes. Watching from the sideline, Naho, Kiyo, and Sumi burst into cheers. Tanjiro smiles. After weeks of painful training, countless defeats, and pushing himself beyond his limits, he had finally broken through. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think you could maintain total concentration breathing even while sleeping? If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of the story. And as always, thank you for listening to Manga with May. Until next time.